Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Sri Mate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Sri Mate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone, please. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone please. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Loudly please. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Gyantimidandasya Gyananjanachalakaya Chakshurun Bilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya evacha Patithanam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Tasmad Sankirtanam Vishno Jagan Mangalamang Hasang Mahatap Abhikoravya Vidyai Niskrimkai Tasmad Sankirtanam Vishno Jagan Mangalamang Hasam. This verse was spoken by Yamaraj. That the chanting, the Sankirtan, congregational chanting of the holy names of Vishnu, uproot all sinful reactions. And therefore this Sankirtan is the supremely most auspicious activity in the entirety of the universe. And in the next verse, Yamaraj tells that through the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, loving devotional service awakens in the heart. And he tells his assistants, the Yamadutas, anyone who once sincerely chants the names of Lord Hari, or bows their heads at the feet of one who is a pure soul, a Vaishnava, he said, never even look in their direction. Because Vishnu, with his club, always protects his devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wrote Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, that the chanting of the holy names of the Lord is the prime benediction for all humanity. When we are chanting in the offensive stage, by continuously chanting, we gradually remove offenses. Of course, our acharyas teach us that we should chant in such a way that we give up our offenses. And when once chanting offenselessly, all the reactions of all the sins of our previous lives are removed. And by chanting with sincere devotion, without offense, love of God awakens in our hearts. Prema Pumarta Mahan, the ultimate goal of life. Yesterday, we discussed the Nam Acharya, Haridas Thakur. Does everyone know the best friend of Haridas Thakur? His name was Advaita, whose appearance day it is today. After Haridas Thakur was blasphemed and with an attempt to incriminate and destroy his life by Ramchandra Khan, after he was blasphemed as a useless outcast by Gopal Chakravarti. He came to Shantipur, and there he met Sri Advaitacharya, who happened to be the leader of perhaps the most distinguished Brahmin community in the world. He embraced Haridas as the topmost of all Paramhamsas, because he was constantly chanting the holy names and living in such a spirit of compassion. Now we read about it, but we don't understand the gravity of one incident. In those days in Bengal, when a Brahmin performed Shraddha, it was a very, very holy, prestigious event. He invited the topmost Brahmins of the community for this Shraddha ceremony. And the greatest honor, I mean, it was better than the Academy Awards or the Grammy Awards. The honor, whoever he fed best, was the person who was the most qualified of all Brahmins. Everyone wanted that honor. And when Advaitacharya gave the honor, that was the highest certification. While all the other great learned Brahmins were waiting to see if their name would be called, he called Haridas Thakur, an outcast from an untouchable family. Where he came from, nobody even knew. Because he wanted to show the world. Aho bata swapa chotogariyam yajjiva grevartate namatubhyam. And even if one is born in a family of the lowest, even the dog eaters, Chandala, if he is chanting the holy names of the Lord, it's considered that that person has already fulfilled all pilgrimages, all austerities, all Vedic rituals, and what is considered the topmost. In fact, such a person could become the guru for the entire world. Haridas Thakur was so humbled by that situation. He felt totally unqualified. Advaitacharya and Haridas would spend so much time every day. He arranged a cave for Haridas Thakur to live in, and every day would invite him to his home for prasad. And it was at that time that Advaitacharya, out of his deep compassion for all humanity, he prayed for Krishna to come to this world. You see, Advaita and Haridas, constantly they were chanting the holy names of the Lord. Harinama, Harinama, Harinameva kevalam kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatir anyata. He knew that it's only by chanting the holy names in this age of Kali that one can attain the highest perfection. But people were so engrossed in mundane scholarship, even in the name of studying Vedanta, or impersonalistic conceptions, or fruitive activities. People were so arrogant and so attached to materialistic things. Only Krishna himself could establish the Sankirtan movement in a powerful way in this world. Advaita was crying tears, Krishna, please come. And one day he read in the Gautamiya Tantra that one who offers the water from the Ganges and Tulsi leaves with prayers, Krishna will fulfill that person's desires. So with faith in this verse, Advaitacharya spent his days every day, week after week, month after month, year after year, offering water from Ganga and Tulsi leaves, and from his heart of hearts he was crying out for Krishna to come, to show compassion to this world by spreading the glories of the holy name. And it was in the answer to the call of Sri Advaitacharya, his compassion to each and every one of us. He could see the future of Kali Yuga. He could see what would be going on here in Mumbai, in New York, in London, and all these places. What is the hope of these people? Only Harinam Sankirtan. And only Krishna could make it powerful to influence the world. So he could have been doing so many things, but he was crying, crying, and crying with a loud voice, practically day and night, begging Krishna to come to save us. And in response, on the lunar eclipse, the month of Phalgun, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared while everyone in all directions was loudly chanting the holy names.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Again and again, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would say, I appeared in this world only because of Advaita's compassion. What a debt we owe him. And how by his compassion and his devotion he conquered the Lord. I'll tell two small stories. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in Puri, every day so many people were inviting Lord Chaitanya to their house for prasad. And Lord Chaitanya would, whenever he would come to someone's home for prasad, he would bring 10 to 15 or more sannyasis with him, many of his principal associates. So one day, Sri Advaita Prabhu, while he was in Puri, the Lord accepted his invitation. Ecstatically, he and his wife, Sita Thakurani, were cooking. And Sita Thakurani, she, with her motherly affection for the Lord, she had brought all sorts of special spinaches and vegetables from Bengal because she knew that Lord Gauranga liked them very much. And they were cooking, and it was such a realm of pure devotion in their little house. And then Advaita said to Sita Thakurani that I want to tell you what I am secretly thinking in my heart. I want Lord Chaitanya to taste every single preparation that you and I have cooked, because he will be so happy. But if he comes with all these sannyasis, he won't be able to eat everything. There'll be so many distractions. So in my heart of hearts, I am hoping that he comes alone. Now, after Lord Chaitanya finished his fixed number of rounds chanting japa, according to Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, he went to bathe in the ocean. And all of these sannyasis who would accompany for him for lunch, they also just completed their morning duties. And they were all going to meet with Lord Chaitanya and come. Just then, there was a massive rainstorm. The rain turned into hail. high winds blew, it became so dark, even though it was noon in Puri, that nobody could see even a few feet in front of him. All the sannyasis were lost. They didn't know where to go. They couldn't go anywhere. They were just standing in the dark. It was raining and hailing. It wasn't even the rainy season. But where Advaita's house was, it was just a little refreshing drizzle of rain. And where Lord Chaitanya was, there was no rain. And there was a nice pathway from Lord Chaitanya to Advaita's house with no rain, and it was nice and light, and everything else was pitch dark. So Lord Gauranga comes to Advaita's house, and Sita and Advaita, they worship his feet, they wash his feet, they put chandan on him, they give him garlands, they sit him down to take prasad. And as he's taking prasad, Advaita keeps giving him more and more, and Lord Chaitanya said, who could possibly cook such delicious food for Krishna? Advaita would say, he who it was meant for has prepared it. We are only the helpers. We're just cleaning the pots and cutting the vegetables. And Lord Chaitanya would leave a little bit in each bowl of each preparation. And he told Advaita why. He said, because this prasad is so nice, I want to keep seeing it. I don't want it to go away. And Advaita would keep filling it up, and he would just leave a little, so he would always be able to see each and every preparation. And as the Lord was just close to finishing, Advaitacharya could not control his emotions. He offered a prayer. He said, Indra, O King of Heaven, today I accept that you are a Vaishnava. Today I have concluded that you are worthy of me offering you some water and flowers. Lord Chaitanya said, Advaita, why all of a sudden you're offering prayers to Indra? And Advaita said, you just continue eating prasad. Here's more sak. Lord Chaitanya said, I know why you are offering prayers to Indra, because it is you that ordered Indra to create this rainstorm and this darkness so that nobody could come to your house except me, and then I would eat all your prasad and there would be no distractions for you to serve me. But that's a very small thing for you, Advaita. Because even Yamaraj, even the Lord of Death, even time has to hold your instructions on their head and obey. That is your power. So in this way, Advaitacharya's and his good wife Sita, their desire was fulfilled. And one day in Puri, Sri Advaitacharya, he gathered the devotees together. He said, listen to me, my brothers. Today, we are going to perform Nam Sankirtan of the names and qualities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We will not sing about any other incarnation. In fact, we should know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that has brought the inundation of the Nam Sankirtan movement to this whole world to flood it with love of God. It is through him that we have all of our qualities and we have all of our fame. He is most merciful. He is most munificent. Today we will publicly have Nam Kirtan of the names of Gauranga. Now this was something very controversial for the devotees. Because Lord Chaitanya was in the role of a devotee. And if anyone called him Ishwara or Hari, he would block his ears with his hands and cry out, Krishna, Krishna, save me. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself teaching by his example how to be a devotee. He would become very angry if anyone called him God, because he knew this is what people would want to think, that I am God, that my guru is God. So to weed that out, even though he was God, he would not accept it. So Advaita said, I know that you're afraid to do this, but you chant and I will dance. Have no fear. Advaita was so powerful that he created fearlessness in their hearts. And they all started chanting the names Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari. And Advaita was dancing and dancing. And they never seen him dancing like this. And Advaita was composing beautiful songs that they were singing. Jai Shri Chaitanya Karuna Sagar. Jai Shri Chaitanya Narayan Karuna Sagar. That Sri Chaitanya is Narayan who has descended to the earth, and he is the unlimited ocean of compassion. It was such an enthusiastic kirtan. They were chanting so loudly and dancing. Advaita was roaring like a lion. When Lord Chaitanya heard this kirtan going on, he always was very eager to be with his devotees in kirtan. So he came to the place. And when he heard what they were chanting, they were not chanting Krishna's names. They were chanting his names. They were hearing them chant, all glories to the son of Sachi Devi, who has come with a beautiful golden complexion, who has lotus-like eyes and arms that extend below his knees, who has come to deliver the whole world by chanting his own holy names. Lord Chaitanya stood there. He became very embarrassed, and then just turned his back and walked away. Very abruptly. When the devotees saw Advaita was in such happiness, they chanted even louder. And as he went home, the procession followed him. He went in his room in the Gambhira and closed his door and performed the pastime of showing his anger by going to sleep. He just lay down. And meanwhile, the kirtan was right outside of his house, loudly calling out, Jai Sachinandana Gaur Hari. And Govinda, the assistant of Lord Chaitanya, he said, all the devotees are outside. What should we do? Lord Chaitanya said, bring Srivas in here. So Srivas came in, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, why are you doing this? Don't you feel any fear of me? I'm angry. You know that I'm concealing my true identity. Why are you exposing me? And Srivas said, the answer is this. And he put both his hands into the sky. Lord Chaitanya said, what kind of answer is this? He said, you see the sun? He said, I'm covering the sun with my hands. And he turned to Lord Chaitanya and said, but nobody can cover the sun with his hands. And similarly, you may try to conceal your supremacy as the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. But how? No more than anyone could cover the sun with their hands, could anyone conceal your supremacy. And now what are you going to do, my Lord? Just at that time, something very mystical came. Everyone that was in Jagannath's temple, from all parts of India, spontaneously, they all came to Lord Chaitanya's house. There were hundreds and thousands of people, and they were all crying out, Gauranga Narayan. They were crying out, that personality who is the Lord of Vrindavan took birth in Navadvip, and now he is spreading the glories of the chanting of the holy name throughout the world. Srila said, now what are you going to do, my Lord? There's already hundreds and thousands of people chanting your names. How long will you conceal your true identity? And Lord Chaitanya looked at Srivas and said, today you have defeated me. This is the power of Sri Advaitacharya. He came to teach the world that the greatest aspiration is to serve. We know those beautiful stories because he was the age of Lord Chaitanya's grandfather. And he was in such an esteemed position, Advaitacharya, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would honor him and serve him. But Advaita didn't want to be served, he wanted to serve. So he had to go through so many extents to somehow or other get Lord Chaitanya to be angry with him and to punish him. And then Advaita would dance and say, now you have accepted me as your servant. You don't punish your master. Because this is the spirit in which we can actually awaken love of God within when we chant the holy names. During the Ratha Yatra in Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed the innermost excellences and intimacies of the Vrindavan Leela. He took the role of Sri Radha, bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan after so long of separation. But he began the whole procession by first standing before Jagannath and praying, Gopi Bharatur Padakamalaya Das 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 Anudas. I'm not Nahamvi Pronacha Narapatir Napi Vaishona Shudra. I'm not a Brahmana Kshatriya Vaishya Shudra. I'm not a sannyasi brahmachari vanaprastha householder. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of your servants. After establishing that principle, then he organized everyone to perform kirtan with mridangas and karatals, dancing, singing. And then he revealed the inner secrets of the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada writes that all that tasmad sankirtanam Vishnur jagan mangalamang hasam. This chanting of the holy names can uproot all sins and awaken love for Krishna. It's the supreme, most auspicious activity in all of creation. There's nothing else required. Srila Prabhupada writes at the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan when he installed the deities, he said all we required was Harinam Sankirtan for the installation. He said, but because many of the Smarta Brahmin people of Vrindavan would not recognize our temple as authorized, we spent lots of money and time bringing in qualified Brahmins to perform all sorts of sacrifices and rituals. And simultaneously, the devotees were chanting the holy names. He said, For the materially oriented people, we did the yajnas. But for the pure devotees, they knew that the real installation was the sincere Vaishnavas chanting the holy name.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
But at the same time, he said, in order for us to chant with the proper consciousness, it's very important that we follow these regulative principles. And it's very important that the worship of the deity is established to regulate our lives with a very clean frame of mind. And if we combine the two, a life of devotion in service of Krishna, the Vaishnavas and all beings, when we chant the holy names, then the holy name will have its true effect. Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam. It awakens that ecstasy that we're always seeking. Param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. We have a few minutes. Let us chant. And if you like, please dance. And if you don't like, please dance. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please raise your arms very high and chant loudly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.